NCR Voyix is a retail and restaurant technology company headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. As a global company, when we come to work each day, we see new names in our inboxes, we share elevators with other employees, and we pass by each other in the hallway. But just who are these people exactly? Many of us are colleagues, yet strangers. Let's take a minute to sit down and learn a little bit more about each other as people. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Not Just a Quick Look. I'm your host, Jenny Reinick. I work in marketing at NCR Voyix. I'm here today to highlight an amazing NCR Voyix employee, Jami Hicks. Jami, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jenny, for having me.
So to start off, telling us a little bit about yourself, can you share where you are in the organization? So what's your title, what department do you work in, and who do you roll up to?
Yeah, so I am, my official title is University Relations Recruiter and Program Manager. I sit in Human Resources, and my manager is Tony Burdett, so I'm on the University Relations team.
Cool. And how long have you worked here at NCR Voyix?
I have been at NCR Voyix for almost 6 years now. September will be 6 years, which is crazy to think about. But here we are.
Awesome. Congratulations. How did you initially find your job here at NCR Voyix?
Yeah, so my journey is a little interesting of how I got to NCR Voyix. So I actually was in grad school at the time at the University of North Alabama, but I'm originally from Metro Atlanta. So I was living 4.5 hours away from home and was trying to figure out where I wanted to go after I finished my master's degree, kind of what I wanted to do next. This position, or my original position, which was a university relations specialist, came open, and I had a family friend who was connected to NCR, and she got me connected to Tony to talk about the opportunity. Once we talked more about, university relations and kind of what exists in that space, we just figured it was a perfect fit. And I ended up moving from Alabama back to Metro Atlanta to work here. And that's kind of how I got here. So we kind of joke that I wasn't a UR hire. I didn't go through the UR hire program, but I essentially was a UR hire when I started here at NCR.
Right, exactly. So you can kind of apply that to your day-to-day job.
Yep, exactly.
And what did you study in school?
So I got my undergrad in 2017 from Kennesaw State University. Hootie hoo, go Owls. And then immediately went at Kennesaw, I studied business and leadership. So Kennesaw actually has a degree called Integrative Studies, where you can study in 2 different areas and put them together to make one degree. So I was able to do that. So I took a lot of business classes. I was in the business school, and then also got a leadership certificate on top of that, and then graduated with both. And then from there, I immediately went into grad school. So I was at the University of North Alabama, which is in Florence, Alabama, for those that have never heard of it before, which is about 4.5 hours away from here. And I actually was studying higher education administration, which is the degree you need to work on a college campus with college students. So that's kind of why when this role came up, it was totally applicable, because I already wanted to work with college students, just not necessarily on a college campus, in a corporate environment. So it was kind of perfect to transfer those skills. So I was partway through my degree when I started here, and then I ended up working full-time and finishing online in December of 2019, which is almost 5 years now, which is crazy.
Yeah, awesome. And so do you feel like you use what you studied in school in your day-to-day job?
Yes, definitely. Between, recruiting on campus, we're working a lot with students. Also, our university hires and the programming we do for them here at NCR Voyix, and then also our internship program and the programming that we provide for our summer interns. All of that is definitely being applied. Everything I studied in school is absolutely being applied every day, which is awesome.
Yes. Not everyone can say that. So
exactly.
That good. If you had to explain to a 10-year-old what you do for work, how would you explain it?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. I would probably say that I work at a company, and at that company, I work with, I guess, like young hires or people who are newly out of school who are getting their footing at our company, and helping them kind of grow through the first part of their career.
Cool.
I don't know if that's simple enough for a 10-year-old.
I think it is.
But hopefully, at least the base.
Yes. How do you connect with other people in the company? So not just people on your direct team, but other people throughout the company.
I think for me, I really like to get to know people. I know with what we do, on the university relations team, it's different. It's very different than what other teams here do. We're not customer facing, but in a way that we are. And so, we get the privilege to work with a lot of different people at NCR Voyix. So, we get to work with marketing on different things, and we get to work with our hiring managers and all of the different business units and teams on what they're looking for and what they want to hire. So for me, I think it's important with any person that I'm working with on any team or recruiting for, to kind of connect with them first to understand, a little bit more about them, but kind of, what are their needs for their team, and, how can we best find them what they're looking for to help them fill their UR hire positions or their intern positions. But I also think it's just really important to get to know people, because, building those relationships are going to make your job easier, especially in our position. It makes our lives so much easier. And we're able to do our job more efficiently when we have better relationships with the people that we're working with.
Yes, I definitely find that in my role as well. I'm interacting with a lot of people throughout the company, and you get to know a lot of different people. So
yes,
it does help you do your job better.
Yes, it's so much easier when, something comes up and you're like, oh, well, let me just reach out to Jenny, or, let me reach out to this person. We just chatted last week, so, they'll hopefully be more receptive to me reaching out versus someone that you don't really know very well. And, you're reaching out and they're like, who are you? What are
Right.
Why are you asking me this? It just makes things so much easier when you have those good relationships with people.
Yes, for sure. Last week I needed a notary. And so I was just sending an IM to everyone I knew, being like, is there a notary in this building somewhere? And eventually I found one. So
I feel like those are the good people to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
They don't always advertise it, but those are the right people to know.
They probably don't want it to be too well known.
No.
So I'll keep who it was under wraps, but what is something that you're currently learning or interested in learning?
So I think it'd be something that I'm interested in learning, not something that I'm currently working on, but maybe something I need to look into. But I think, there's been a lot of talk about like AI and different things. And I'll be honest, I have no technical background, as you heard from my education. So I think for me, and some of the conversations that have come up this summer, I think I'm going to try to look into, getting more having more technical base. So I don't really know where that would start. I know that's not a great answer. But that's just something that has been coming up, like especially working at a tech company.
Yes.
And, recruiting for tech talent. I feel like, I'm kind of behind the curve a little bit on that. So maybe doing my own research and starting to do my own journey of, maybe not doing anything in tech, but just kind of learning, what is out there and kind of, how can I make myself a little bit smarter when it comes to those talks around like AI and different things, that have to do with some of the technology that, NCR Voyix is looking into.
Yeah. And I mean, similarly to what we were saying earlier, we know a lot of people within the company.
Right.
So there's probably a lot of very techie people in the building who could like mentor you and teach you the basics.
Yes. And I think that's something that is an opportunity that I need to capitalize on. Working in HR, it's really easy to be like, Yeah, I don't really know, I know the basis of that and I don't know a lot about it, and that's okay. It doesn't hurt my job function. But I think it would be good to expand my knowledge on some of the different topics that are out there, that are more tech related.
Yeah. I have some of our other podcast guests that I could introduce you to.
That would be perfect,
Yes.
Actually. They could probably enlighten me on some
Yes.
different things.
Yeah, they enlightened me on things during their podcast episode. So
There you go.
Can you share a project or accomplishment from your time here that you're really proud of?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, one thing that I am very proud of here, first NCR, now as we've transitioned to NCR Voyix, is our summer internship program. So I started leading the program the summer of 2020. So during COVID.
Challenging year.
Yes, very challenging year to take over leading the summer internship program, and kind of navigating, how do we do all this virtually, and then making sure that our program survived but also thrived. So taking it through 2020, 2021, bringing it back in person in 2022, and now, as we've moved forward, now that we're NCR Voyix, maintaining the success that our internship program has had. Now that I'm co-leading the program, with Caroline, who's on our team, I think it's been really important for me that we stay true to the program we've built, but also making sure that we're continuing to evolve. So being a top 100 internship program in the country for us, we've had that title 4 years out of the 5 years that I've been here, and so. For me, I think when I look back on every summer that I've been a part of, that just makes me really proud because, not only are we investing in every single intern who has been a part of our program and continues to be a part of our program, but we also are, making a name for NCR Voyix in that space as well. And, being a top 100 program, that's not something everyone can say. So I think for me, when I look back, my pride really comes through when I think about all that we have done to invest in our interns as a company, and, leadership down. We couldn't do it without every single employee. But I think it's the time we've put in and that I've put in to make sure that, our program is long lasting and it can withstand, not only COVID, a company separation, but anything that there is to come in the future, making sure we have that foundation for the program.
Yeah. Well, you should be really proud.
Thank
Our
you.
internship program is awesome. I have found myself wishing I was an intern here.
Me too.
I have had internships where I'm the only intern at the company, where I'm bored and twiddling my thumbs. And our interns do not experience that.
Yeah.
They have a real sense of community. They're really busy. They learn a lot, and they have to prove that they learned a lot in the expo at the end of the summer. So
Yes, and it's definitely a labor of love. Sometimes I feel like, we're just going all the time, and we don't really get a chance to kind of soak in all of the success and just kind of be present. So that's something that this year we've tried really hard to make sure that we are, our whole team is being present kind of in the moment. And, we always try to focus on making sure everything's running smoothly. But yeah, it's nice to look back and see if I was in college and I had this internship experience, I think I would have been so much better for it. So I'm glad that we have something that we can kind of have that impact on, our interns now, but then also our future intern classes as well.
Yes, definitely. I'm excited about all of the incoming talent
Yes.
at NCR Voyix. What is something about you that might surprise even the people on your own team?
I actually am, a self-proclaimed Disney adult.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually do Disney and Universal travel planning on the side. So I'm actually a certified authorized travel planner.
Mm-hmm.
And I work as an independent contractor for a travel agency. So I think that's kind of a fun fact. I feel like, it's not something everyone can say. And, the reason I do that is I just have a love for Disney and for theme parks. And, it's somewhere I've gone many, many times. And was kind of like, why don't I share this useless knowledge that I have with other people and hopefully be able to make an impact on their vacations that they might have with their family or, their partner or whoever, their friends. And so I've been doing that this is my 4th year. So I started in 2021. So, that is actually something really cool, I think. I'm able to take my planning and like event planning background and everything that I do here and kind of apply it to make sure, I can get them the best vacation possible, best, price possible, but also plan out their vacation so they can have the best time.
Awesome.
So I guess that would be my fun fact.
What's your favorite Disney park?
Oh my gosh, that's such a loaded question. I think for me, it's actually, which this is so funny. So, anyone who knows Disney will probably find this really interesting, but I actually think that Disneyland is my favorite park. So I grew up going to Walt Disney World. I go there all the time in Florida. But Disneyland in California, I went there in 2022, and I'm actually going back in July. That was just a really surreal experience because it is the first. There's a lot of history there with the Walt Disney Company and Walt Disney himself. And so that, probably because I don't go all the time, I'd probably say that's why it's my favorite. But yeah, so it's a little bit of a different,
Yeah, I also grew up in Atlanta, so I've only been to Walt Disney World. I've never been to Disneyland. But I have wanted to go and try it out.
It's definitely a different experience. It's very different than Walt Disney World. I would say for anyone that even just enjoys Walt Disney World, making the trip to Disneyland is totally worth it. But just know it is very different.
Right.
It's a lot smaller. There, like I said, there's just a lot of history there. The vibe is a little bit different. But yeah, I think it's definitely at least making the trip once, or at least if you're in California or in LA, like going for the day, totally worth it.
Good to know. Yeah. I'll have to plan that. And I can reach out to you for
Yes.
help in planning
Reach out to me. I'll help you plan
it. What is your favorite thing about your role here at NCR Voyix?
That is a good question. I think for me, my favorite part is just the relationships and the connection that we've been able to build on campus and with the students that we have either recruited or hired, as an intern or a full-time hire. For me, it's the connections that we're able to make and that impact with them. That has been my favorite part. It's kind of my why. You think about why do I want to do this every day? But I am able to get up and, get here to work and be, my normal self.
Right.
Because of that impact we get to have. So, it's like, to us and to me, it's so much more than just, oh, you're hired, you have a job. For some of these students, it truly is changing their life. And to me, that's the coolest thing.
Right.
So I think that would be my favorite part. Is just, we just never know, what impact we're going to have every day. And when we go on campus and, we're making offers and we're doing the internship program, like, you just don't know the impact you're going to have on someone that day. And to me, that's really cool.
Yes. I know when I was a student, I was very excited about getting an offer. So
yes.
Let's see. What are you most excited about when it comes to the future of the company?
That's another good question. I think for me, so, through the separation, there's been a lot of change. And, things as working in a tech company, and as we've seen even before the separation, things are always changing, always evolving. And I think, through where we are now as NCR Voyix, I think the thing that I'm most excited about is to see kind of how we continue, the impact that we've had in our retail restaurant spaces, and kind of where our teams are going to take us as we go forward. I know that's kind of such a generic answer, but I think that, our teams in each of the industries, as someone who's in a shared service, I think our teams in each industry are really working hard to make the NCR Voyix name stay relevant, but also kind of put us at the forefront of innovation. I know they're working tirelessly to come up with, new technologies and take what we have and, make us even better. And so I think for me, that makes me excited because, it's going to keep our company, moving forward and evolving as we should as a tech company. So I know it's kind of a generic answer, but I think that our teams, I have a lot of faith in our teams, and I think they are going to do some great things as we move forward, this year, and even as we go into 2025. I know there's going to be some new and exciting things.
Yeah. No, as a non-tech person also, at least in my day-to-day job, it's like, I'm excited to see what we're going to come up with next.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? So.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we've seen it, in the last couple of webcasts. And I think, now that we're kind of getting our footing as NCR Voyix, I think there's just more exciting things to come.
Yeah. Other than Disney travel planning, what do you like to do for fun outside of work?
Yeah, so I actually really enjoy pickleball. I don't know if you have played before.
I have not.
It is super fun. So I grew up playing softball, and sports were kind of like second nature to me. And then I started playing pickleball last year, January of 2023. My parents actually play, and they're the ones who got me and my husband into it. So we play all the time now. We've played in a couple tournaments, and we've won some medals, and so we're a little bit intense about it.
So you're good at pickleball.
So we are semi good. I wouldn't say we're like great. We're still at the very basic level, but it has been really fun. So that's something, on the weekends, if it's nice out, you can guarantee we're going to play pickleball for a couple of hours. Outside of that, I really enjoy reading. So I'm a reader. And usually just hang out with my family, my husband and my dog. We have a dog named Yoda, who is a pug.
Aww.
He's very cute. That's about it. But yeah, pickleball is life for us right now.
Nice.
So
yes,
that has been fun.
Someone on our marketing team has a pickleball social club that she started.
Yes, Sarah. Yes. I did see that. That's super cool. Yeah,
so actually, it is a very popular up-and-coming sport, I think.
It is growing rapidly. They are saying that by, I think they said 2028, I believe, they will probably be pickleball in like high school sports.
Wow.
Yeah, it is evolving, that fast. It's just the popularity is growing, and the population of people or the demographic of people that are playing is getting younger and younger.
Right.
So definitely could see it in high school sports very soon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. What advice would you give to a younger person who's just starting out in their career? I know you work with younger people in your day-to-day job every day, but if someone came to you and said, I need advice, what would you tell them?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think my one nugget of advice for them would be to, I hate using this word, but network, and meet as many people as you can. And kind of like we talked about connections earlier, form connections with as many people as you can just from the get-go, because you just never know when you might need that connection later on, or, in your job function, moving forward. People go out and do different things, and you never know who you might run into. So I think it's so important just from your first day, first month, even your first year as you're starting your career, just meeting so many people. Introduce yourself, and have them introduce them. Find out what they do, what do they do at the company. And, just kind of building that rapport with people, I think is so important, because that can launch you to anything you want to do in the future, even things that you don't even know now you want to do. You never know how that will come full circle.
Exactly. Yeah. Social media was not a career when I was in college. And
Yeah.
now I do that for a living. So
Right.
you never
That's so
know
true.
what you might get into later on in your career.
Yep. And one thing you think you might be doing when you graduate may not be what you're doing in 5 years or 10 years. So,
yes.
yep.
Be open to change. I guess another good one.
Yes, very much so.
Cool. Well, Jami, it was great to learn a little bit more about you, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Jenny.
Not Just a Quick Look is a production of NCR Voyix Corporation. Thank you to Linton Felix, Duval Johnson, and the staff of Bell Studios for production and editing help. Thank you to all of our NCR Voyix employees who have participated as a guest on the show. Our cover art is by Ariana Cole. Our website is ncrvoyix.com, ncrvoyix.com. Any opinions stated in Not Just a Quick Look are those of the podcast guest and or host, not NCR Voyix Corporation. Subscribe to our show to get updates about new episodes. Thank you for listening to Not Just a Quick Look, available wherever you get your podcast. Copyright NCR Voyix Corporation 2024. All rights reserved.